Hi, I'm Ellen. I'm an engineer on the Remitly for Developers team. Part of launching a new enterprise API is providing excellent customer support, and we needed a way to equip our customer success agents with the information and tools they needed to provide that support. When I joined in September, the tools looked like this. We didn't have any tools yet, so clearly we needed a way to build customer success tools. Specifically, our immediate need was for a workflow for customer success agents to respond to partner errors on a transaction. We work with partners like banks and cash pickup locations all over the world so that our customers can send money directly to their recipients. For many different possible reasons, we may receive an error sending the transaction to a partner, and sometimes that error needs to be escalated to a customer success agent for troubleshooting. For example, if a partner requires more information before fulfilling the transaction. So how do we go from having no tools to quickly getting this key workflow for customer success up and running? Well, we set up Retool. We set up a way for agents to look up transactions in Retool, and then we built a page for agents with the information and tools they needed to troubleshoot those errors. So my first goal was simple, just get Retool set up. And the first thing I needed to do was deploy it, since our data includes sensitive financial data, and I wanted to make development faster by connecting to a database that was only available in our internal network. We decided to deploy Retool on-premise, or in our case, self-host it in our Kubernetes cluster. In case you're working on the same thing or thinking about it, here's what that looked like for us. So for local development, we have a GitHub repository where we store our Retool config and our application config. To make changes in our Retool app, we run the Docker container locally, make changes in the UI, and that updates the Retool configuration files. When we're happy with those changes, we open a PR, merge it to the main branch, and each merge to the main branch is packaged into a container and published to our container registry. From there, we can deploy the application to a Kubernetes cluster using our internal tools. This follows the same pattern as our other applications that we develop, so it's been really helpful for onboarding other developers. In order to get this all working, I did have to set up a couple other things. I had to set up a Postgres database that Retool uses to store information. We used AWS's RDS. I also set up SSO and configured Retool to only allow SSO signups from our domain. I also had to set up some other environment variables for the Retool application to work correctly, and that goes into a couple learnings I had that I wanted to share. The first one is definitely read the Retool documentation about how to do this. That was very helpful. And personally, I found the page about the environment variables to be helpful to understand all the different configuration options. And then if I were to do this again, I try to use the get syncing functionality that Retool has and separate our application config from the Retool config, separate that into two different repositories. This would open the door to non-local development. And I've learned from our Retool rep that it will make some future things that we might want to take advantage of easier. Let me know if you've done this because I'm really curious about it. So once I gotten the application deployed, and for me, that was the long part since I was new to Remitly at the time. But once I got it deployed, it only took about 5 minutes to connect to a Dynamo database and build a page that shows recent transactions. So with this page, agents can now look up a transaction if we get a call from a customer or a partner about an issue. They can look it up by reference code, or they can use the built-in filter functionality to search by one of our other IDs. This page had an added benefit that I wasn't expecting. When I showed it to our product manager, she said, oh, geez, now that I can see all the information, I have so many other questions. And that was followed by, oh, can we also have this other information? So we've gradually been tweaking this page and making sure it has the information it needs and displays it in a way that's meaningful. For example, using the built-in date time columns to make the time zone explicit. So once we deployed Retool and build a way for agents to look up transactions, we built the page that allows them to actually troubleshoot the partner errors. So for this page, there were two parts. The first part was like Alex and Angelina tracking down all the different data stores that we needed to pull information from. So there's data in here from a few different APIs owned by different teams and a couple different data stores. Once I tracked that all down, it was pretty easy to get that JSON data in the page with the key value components, a place to show an error at the top if there is an error. So now agents can understand if there is an error, and then they also have information about how to troubleshoot. They can look at who the partner was for the transaction, look up that in the error in our knowledge base, and use the information in our knowledge base to start taking actions. So this is a really simple workflow for customer success, kind of a V0 workflow, but it's the information that they needed to begin troubleshooting these issues. And this has been a great place to build on. We had a product manager join a few months ago, and she's been using this as a springboard or building board with our customer success team to talk about what other tools they need and what the next version should look like. And I actually have a coworker who's waiting to merge a PR, to deploy a PR with some extra information for this page. So that's how we went from nothing, blank page 404, to equipping our customer success agents to respond to partner errors and ensure that our customers' transactions reach their recipient.